And we will. All right, I think we're here, everybody. Let's see. Let me see if I can share some screens. No one can see your screen. Let's see.
Good.
Yeah, they don't want to see it, huh?
Yeah, you don't want to see what I'm doing.
Probably like everybody else, working your tails off. So, all right. Let's see. Audience. That's the audience view. Let's see. You know what? It's been just long enough since I've used GoToWebinar. I'm trying to remember how the heck we do this. So, okay. Let's show. All right. Try to see if who can see us, who can't. All right. I'm going to throw a question out there. You know what? I'm going to pick on somebody. Mr. Dick Kleinman, can you shoot me let's shoot a chat here. Tell us what we can hear and see, because I want to make sure I'm not screwing anything up with anybody. I'm just not sure who's seeing what. All right.
That means it's time for a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm looking at the audience view, and it looks like they're looking at my screen.
That's what we can see as well, your desktop.
All right. Well, let's just. I'm saying view everyone. Webcams, that's all good. Dashboard, that's all good. Oh, they see the three of us, so okay. Somebody sees us. Good. I want to make sure, because it looks like the audience view on my end looks like it's just my screen. So anyway, that is good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We can see the screen. Looking at Tim and two candidates. Very good. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get this thing started. Thank you for joining us at this initial town hall for. We're going to grill the vice president candidates for NSPS. We are going to go ahead and record this, so anybody that ends up not being able to get on, we'll save it and send the link out later for people to catch up on. Bottom line is, we're really trying to do what we can to promote more interaction with our members. Unfortunately, the turnout for voting has been dismal, and short of having all of the directors take ballots around and knock on every door, I'm not sure that we're going to get any better turnout unless we just try to do the best we can here. So, with us today, from the great state of South Dakota, is Miss Linda Foster, and from the great state of Montana is Mr. Matt Morris. Now, why are we picking on the middle of the country? I guess that's okay that the two of you are. We've got the heartland here, kind of drawn into all of this. So, tell you what, let's just start. I'm gonna flip a coin. No, ladies first. Ladies first. Linda, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What your current role is, and what's the one thing that intrigues you about becoming an officer in NSPS?
Sure. Well, thank you, Tim, and thank you for having us here today. It's a pleasure to get to visit with everyone and field some of these questions. I'm currently a registered professional land surveyor and certified GIS professional. In my existing role, I work for Esri as a industry solutions manager for land records and surveying. And I'm very excited to be a part of NSPS at the national level, participating in the leadership of the organization that will be seeing our way forward in professional land surveying into the future. It's an exciting time. There's a lot going on, a lot of change happening, and we have a lot to look forward to, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to be a part of that.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, Mr. Matt Morris from Montana. Same question. Who are you? What's your current role, and why the heck do you want to throw your hat in the ring for this type of a commitment?
Good afternoon, Tim. My name's Matt Morris. I own and operate a firm centrally located in Choteau, Montana. I'm one of 3 licensed surveyors that work in the firm. Been surveying off and on since the early 2000s. I've operated my firm since 2008. I have a wealth of experience in different elements of surveying. I would like to use my experience to make a difference in the profession. That's the reason I'm running for vice president, and I feel it's an honor to be asked to run as well. I could get into specifics if you'd like, but I think in a nutshell, that's who I am, what I do, and what I'm looking forward to do if elected.
Okay, well, that's great. No, that's good. For our attendees, these questions are coming off the cuff. They've not been prepped on these questions, so let's just throw them out there and see what they've got to say about the future of the organization and their role in the organization. So, Matt, let's go back and we'll start with you. Why did you decide to run for this position? What really drew your interest into doing more for the profession?
Well, obviously, I was asked, but prior to being asked, I've thrown my name out. Again, I'd like to make a difference in the profession. I've had experience with NSPS in leadership as a director off and on, I guess, since, was it 2014? I believe is when I became officially a director. Naturally, it's the progression from director into candidacy. And there are things that I feel I can help guide the organization that will make a difference for the profession and towards the future. Starting with, of course, workforce development. I've been fairly active, not necessarily with the committee, but with political efforts, lobby day, and with JB and the firm.
Right, very good.
I'd like to continue that, and like I say, allow for growth, not only individually, but growth for NSPS to benefit the profession as a whole.
Very good. Linda, same question. Why did you decide to throw your hat in the ring for this position and to try to become an officer within NSPS?
Sure. No, that's a great question, Tim. Much like Matt, I've worked in the surveying profession for over 20 years. Prior to coming to Esri, I worked in private consulting, working all facets of land surveying at a smaller Midwestern firm, and had a lot of exposure across the spectrum of land surveying. And of course, started at my local professional chapter level, became president there, moved into the state leadership, became president at the state of South Dakota leadership level in our state surveying society. Really enjoyed my time in both of those arenas. Enjoyed having some impact of being able to complete projects and see things unfold and projects get done that we're helping our profession at the local and state levels, and really just want to carry that momentum forward. I've enjoyed my time as an NSPS director. I serve on several committees currently, the bylaws committee. I serve on the workforce development committee, which I think is of interest to everyone right now. That's a very relevant topic and timely. And anything I can do to help promote and move forward those types of efforts, I'm very excited, and I think it's a good time to be here and be in a leadership role with NSPS.
Very good. All right, next question. I'll come right back to you, Linda. It's a little more of a global question. What do you think the purpose of this organization is currently, and what would you like to see it evolve into and become, I guess, used for greater good down the road?
Sure, no, that's a fair question. I think currently, NSPS does a great job of servicing our existing professionals and providing community for practicing professional and surveyors here in our nation, and for our affiliate states that make up NSPS. And that's a very important role in our profession and in our community. As we all know, our world is becoming more and more globalized. Even though we may practice here in the Midwestern part of the United States, many of the projects we work on, many of the teams we work on, and many of the things that we are involved with are integrated at a global level anymore. And I think we'll only continue to see more and more of that type of activity. So I'm excited for NSPS's role and potential role in growing in this realm of leadership, basically, in bringing exposure, partnering and teaming with the global surveying organizations, and just being a member at the table to tie all of those loose ends together, if you will, because we're becoming one big globalized team, in my perspective and in my previous experiences. And so that's where I see the future going. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. There's accelerated technology. There's need for workforce development, and that's not unique to any of us here, but it's absolutely a broader, more globalized conversation that I've been seeing happen.
Well, very good. Matt, same question to you. What is NSPS's purpose, and what it is now, and where do you think it should evolve into? And would like to I guess, help with your involvement.
NSPS is a true member organization, right? I mean, we consist of individual members as opposed to other organizations that represent larger firms. Towards the future, we have challenges. We have licensure challenges. I don't know about South Dakota specifically. Linda may be able to answer if licensure has been under attack. Mm-hmm. I know it has in Montana a couple times. We're gearing up for legislative efforts and likely will be defending licensure. Texas combined the surveying board and the engineering board. I feel that we constantly need to work on educating the public of the value of our licensure and what our license does to promote public safety, health, and welfare. And I feel that NSPS plays a large role in that with individual members in each state. I feel as vice president and through the progression into presidency, that is something that I would plan on being very active with, a role that I have spent a fair amount of time playing in Montana is defending licensure, and likely work on that in a broader capacity.
Well, good. No, that's a good explanation. I appreciate that. All right, Matt, back to you. What do you feel? I really want to do really more than one, but let's go for one right now. What is the biggest issue that is facing our organization and the profession going forward? You mentioned the attack on licensure, but is that the biggest issue we have? What do you feel is the biggest thing that NSPS really needs to put their arms around and try to tackle?
The licensure attack is a big issue. Anyone who doesn't recognize that or agree with that has their head somewhat in the sand. But there's also workforce development. There's opportunities, as Linda had mentioned, to expand into a global community. I feel that one of the things that NSPS needs to work on and continue to work on, not like it isn't being worked on, but educating the public as what do we do as a profession? Who are we? What are we? And why are we important? And that starts off with grade school kids all the way up to people in private industry, whether it be banking, real estate, title. Anything I can do to spread what a surveyor does, I feel is time well spent. I laughingly used to carry around, this is pre-COVID, I'd carry around, if I was flying someplace I knew I had four legs of travel, I'd take 4 issues of the American Surveyor, and I guess you could say I'm hoarding old issues of American Surveyor for this purpose, because I am. And I would take, and every time I'd get on a plane, I'd shove it in the compartment in front of the seat so the next traveler would pick it up. Now I don't see a lot of magazines in airplanes and feel it's probably rude to the flight attendants to leave trash behind. So I've kind of stopped that practice, but it's a simple thing that allows for a little bit of education. The next person who sits in that seat may look at it, or it may get thrown away. You don't know, but without trying, you're not putting an effort forth.
Very good. Linda, over to you. What do you think is the biggest issue that NSPS needs to address and try to get their arms around?
I would probably come back as well to workforce development. And I guess when I think about workforce development, it's an umbrella topic. It covers many of the things that Matt just mentioned here. That's educating the public. That's educating our youth. It's educating our consumers. It's catching and educating our young people that are middle and high school age as they're making those critical decisions on what to do as they move out and start their lives. What would be a good career path. And I think our world has changed a lot in how we communicate with each other and how we communicate these types of conventional knowledge and thoughts and things like that. And so I think, the attacks on licensure that just came up, absolutely, that's, something that we've experienced here in our state, and I've worked for many years at our state society's level, kind of counteracting that and addressing that as those attacks have come up. I think it all kind of rolls up under the same topic of communication, education to the public, why we're a critical profession, why we're important, what's exciting about our profession. I've seen a lot of great content lately hitting social media, which is good because that's one of those shifts in how we communicate anymore, is a digital platform and a digital medium, and just getting that information out there in as many hands as we possibly can to just educate the spectrum. And I think inherently that will help us with our workforce development challenges. It won't be the sole solution. We've got to be very focused and organized in those efforts to really ramp up interest and drawing people in. But overall, I think it will help solve some of our other challenges as well, if we can make some movement in those areas.
Okay, very good. Linda, going to come right back to you. Let's talk about education versus experience and this whole, I won't say argument, this whole discussion, we'll say, across all of our state licensing boards, the ones that do require the 4-year, ones that don't, and really where the technology is taking the profession. What is your opinion on the really training? What needs to be the qualifications for an LS? What needs to be the qualifications for a truly technical person? Or is it all the same? Or is there a difference?
That's a great question, Tim. There's a lot of angles on that one. No, that really is an excellent question to ask, and I think everyone's probably curious to know how we feel and where we stand on that. And circling back to a couple of the previous topics that we just discussed with workforce development, with educating the public, with how we're seen as professionals, and then state by state, because we're regulated on a statewide, state by state basis for licensure, there's currently some inconsistency from state to state. What are the educational requirements from state to state to become a licensed professional? I think sometimes that creates confusion to folks, and I think there's often been instances where maybe the surveyors or the surveying profession has felt like they're maybe treated as less than professionals sometimes. And I think some work can definitely be done in looking at our education requirements and maybe a broader look at how do we come together as a profession, as professionals, and what is that message that we want to send? There's dramatic shifts in technology and technological advances and things like that that I think we all realize has to be addressed and has to be acknowledged as being a part of what we do anymore in our profession. And so there's a lot of moving parts in that question and in this particular topic, because what does it take to be a technician? What does it take to be a licensed professional? That those are all questions that we're all wrestling with as a profession. I think that will become clearer, much clearer, as we continue to look at workforce development, retention, finding and acquiring folks, and working with the higher education institutions. And that's something that I would like to focus on if I should get the opportunity to move through the leadership role here at NSPS, and that is drawing those folks in and having our technical colleges at the table and having our four-year universities at the table, so that we all can come together and form some consensus about what this looks like, as well as licensing and regulation. How does that all work together? I think we have some work to do there.
Fair enough. Matt, back around to you. Where do you stand on licensure versus technicians versus all this smorgasbord of the state licensing boards we have right now? What's your take on this?
So, being licensed in 3 different states, all 3 states have similar yet different requirements. And obtaining my license in Montana first, then going through the necessary work to become a certified federal surveyor. After that, I gained licensure in 2 other states. One state sent me a test. I took it, sent it back, and obtained licensure. The other state had a rather time. It was a lengthy take-home exam and a trip to the state capitol. Enjoyable, and and the test itself was a well-written exam. It just a lot of time, and I haven't obtained licensure outside of those 3 states just because I haven't seen a need. Now, my experience in those 3 states would indicate that every state is different. In fact, when I graduated college, and I won't say what year, I'll try not to date myself too much here, but when I graduated college, I was instantly accepted by the Montana board with a bachelor's degree and a unofficial at that time minor in land surveying to sit for the first test, the fundamentals test. That has since changed in our local state. The requirement is a 4-year degree to sit, or experience plus a bachelor's and a minor. Now, to get back to the question, do I agree with a 4-year degree for a licensed professional? That's what NSPS has chose to support as a group of directors, as an organization. And personally, yes, I agree. However, I feel that some states have made it difficult to obtain licensure. Whether the reason behind that, I'm not certain, but it has precluded some people from pursuing licensure. Right now in Montana, if you get a bachelor's degree and have to take 6 years out of your life to get licensed versus 4 to be an engineer, you can see where students are going. That I see as a potential threat to the profession, not only here locally in Montana, but elsewhere. I know that Montana is not the only state that requires a fair amount of experience. Is experience necessary? Absolutely. I learn every day. And I imagine everyone who practices surveying does. I mean, we're not talking how to pound in lath or which side of the lath to put the ribbon on, but the fundamental aspects of surveying, when you get into boundary rules and regulations and actual practice, there are items you learn often. And mentoring other younger surveyors it's kind of turned into a passion for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy handing down the knowledge that I have. And like I say, I don't consider myself to be old, but I'm well into my career. Technicians are are important, and technology, as it's changing, and it's changed rapidly over the last 10 years, let alone 20 or 30. I may not be on the cutting edge of technology, yet I'm not running around with a chain and a solar compass either. I remember going to ACSM conferences where they had seminars that were, what was it, the mystery behind the box that gives you coordinates, that trying to explain GPS to people. I was laughing, thinking, oh, this is ridiculous. And even before that, there were individuals who questioned the utilization of EDMs. Well, at this point, EDMs are kind of a standard for most measurements. GPS at times has the ability of giving you fictitious data, but it's so rare in my experience that you forget about the fact that once in a while you get a false fix. As we move into other technologies that are advanced past that, a good technician is well educated in the utilization of technology, and through the use of technology in practice gains knowledge in the profession of land surveying.
All right, very good. Okay, Matt, back to you. If you were elected to this role, it's a 4-year commitment, and during those next 4 years is going to be very critical. One of the things that's moving forward is the PAC study within NCSS, and this movement, this idea of a modular license. Tell us your thoughts on the ability to be able to get licensed in particular aspects of surveying, if that is, in your opinion, a good thing, a bad thing, or what we should do to make it the right thing.
That's a difficult question to answer. As I just said, being licensed in multiple states, each state has its own requirements. So modular licensure and boundary work, every state has similar rules and regulations for plotting of land, yet there's differences, and it's difficult to obtain all the knowledge for all 50 states when it comes to things of quiet title, what a fence line means, and they are different state to state. So modular licensure from a national level, I have split feelings on. Is it a good thing? Yes, at times. Can it be problematic? Yes, at times. Would I be supportive of it? Likely, yes. The subcategories, of course, would be, boundary. Is there one for ALTA maps, floodplain, and flood surveys? Most common aspects of surveying are fairly modular, and what would that allow the membership of NSPS to benefit from having more licensed surveyors traveling from one end of the nation to the other, or would it be some degree a problem for local surveyors who are trying to maintain a practice yet have competition at a national level that don't necessarily understand local requirements? So I have split feeling. The national endorsement that NSPS has discussed with the floodplain surveyor, I'm 100% behind. I'm obviously behind the federal certification, as I am a federal surveyor. Am I completely in support of modular licensure? I question it just a little bit, whether that's to the benefit of the public, because that ultimately that's what we are as surveyors, is we are guardians of the public's best interest. Safety, health, and welfare is paramount. And is that in the public's best interest?
Okay. No, it's a fair answer, because, and Linda, I'll throw it back to you. The reason I ask this is something that our organization is going to have to be dealing with over the next several years as NCSS, as a testing body is trying to put this together. They're going to be looking to us for direction, for leadership. So, Linda, I throw it to you. The whole concept of modular licensing, how do you see it? Is there pros, is there cons? And what if what, in your opinion, could be done to make it more palatable, or is it okay the way it is? What they've talked about going forward. What's your take?
Well, I would agree to a certain degree. With Matt's stance, it's definitely a mixed bag. I think there's absolutely some opportunity there for a modular style license if it's designed very thoughtfully. I think a lot of consideration and thought needs to go into what that looks like and how that would function and how it would be administered and play out, if you will. There's absolutely local knowledge and local things in every state that each of us that practice in our local areas must know. I mean, to be good guardians and to practice as a professional. And so there needs to be some means or mechanism to, I think, maintain a base level of knowledge or commitment that the professional has a baseline of knowledge in that area, and whether that maybe remains a state-specific type of a test specific to state legislation, as Matt alluded to, being licensed in different states. States treat that differently. Sometimes it's purely a take-home test or some sort of similar exam specifically on the law and the requirements of the law in that state. And sometimes it's that plus maybe an additional round of testing. I think that's a bit extreme. I think if there should be a standardized national all-encompassing baseline exam that should hit all of the majority of the topics that a professional should be expected to know at a minimum in practice. And then it's working in the piece of the local knowledge or the local state statute that would need to really be, I think, very thoughtful in how that's carried out to ensure that doesn't get lost in a modular setting.
Very good. Linda, I'm going to come back to you with, we've got a couple of minutes here. I was going to go through a couple of questions and then throw it out to the attendees and see if they have questions. If you do have questions, you want to load them up in the question box, please do, and we'll get to them here shortly. But Linda, back to you. What do you personally hope to gain by being elected and having an opportunity to help guide leadership of the organization and the profession from a national perspective? What would be during your time as an elected officer?
I think for me, what I hope to gain is just, I'm at the point in my career now. I'm like Matt. I don't consider myself old, but I'm well into my career at this point, and I've been given a lot along the way. I've been given a lot of opportunities, a lot of mentoring, a lot of guidance. Every day, just like Matt, I learn new things. I'm in new situations, faced with new circumstances, and over time, you build those skills and grow them. And I'd like to just take what I've learned to this point and basically turn around and give back if I can. Give back of some time and knowledge and expertise to improve our profession and improve our community, and really leave things in a good place for the young folks that are coming in behind us, because things are changing at lightning speed, as we all know, and what the future looks like for them is very different than what we're faced with right now. I'm very certain, and so I think it's just a pleasure to be able to have an opportunity to be a part of some of those changes and conversations and give back where I can.
Very good. Matt, what do you hope to personally get out of being part of this going forward? If you would be elected, that's a 4-year commitment. What do you want to get out of it from yourself?
Honestly, I don't have any real personal gain that I anticipate getting. I plan on donating more of my time to the organization. The benefit I see is similar to Linda, providing a little bit of education to those that are coming up in the profession, allowing for a legacy in the organization would be my goal. My personal goal would be to see NSPS thrive and come together as a united body and voice at the national level.
Okay, no, that's good. I don't see any questions as of yet, so I'm going to keep going on a couple of other things. Matt, back to you. Uh, the future of surveying. We keep throwing that statement out there. Uh, how does the future of surveying look to you? Bright, dim, challenging? What's your take?
As a surveyor, I think the future looks great. Almost to the point where you need sunglasses, right? There are some threats to the profession. There's the threat of licensure. There's the weakness in workforce, but that's nothing really new. It's how do we conquer those threats? How do we move forward? That's the big question. The future, of course, there's technology. Technology has changed, like you say, over the last 20 years. One of my favorite places to go spend some time is museums that deal with technology. You go back from the mid 70s to punch card machines, and now we carry around phones in our pockets that have 1,000 times the power, if not more. Just in the last 10 years, the change in technology between equipment from 2012 versus 2022 is large. You're able to do a fair amount more work, and you do it with a fair amount more efficiency than you're able to do. And I see a large bridge in technology taking over where people once were. I mean, if you go back into 1985 with multiple crews, the field time to traverse around a section of land with a total station versus what you can do with one person in RTK or an RTN equipment is incredible. Where are we going to be in the future? Well, I think we see that there's going to be more advanced technology at our disposal. I mean, I think everybody uses some form of, whether it's Onyx maps or other products to navigate around in the field. There are products available that allow you to do a fair amount of reconnaissance with a cell phone. That's alarming. It can be misused, and it comes back to educating the public on behalf of the profession. Why do you need to hire a surveyor when I can get this thing on my map or on my phone that shows me exactly where my boundary is? Well, does it? Does it show you? And is that data usable? And yes, it is usable, but there are problems. And does that answer your question, Tim?
Yes, no, it does. It does. That's your opinion of where the future is and what the challenges we have. So, Linda, I'm going to throw that over to you. What does the future of surveying look like to you, and bright, dim, or otherwise?
Oh, the future of surveying is super, super bright. It's an exciting time to be in the profession. It's different. It's changing. It's constantly changing. And I think as leaders of a national organization, especially, or a national professional society such as NSPS, we're responsible for being stewards, right, of the organization. And what that means to me in the future is we're change agents, but we have to be responsible change agents. We have to look at what's happening all around us, digest all of that information, and weigh it against our past experience and our experience thus far, and figure out how does that extrapolate out into the future. How do we make good decisions now with the knowledge we have from the past and knowing what we have currently and seeing some of what's coming, because we can all see it. There's a lot of really exciting, truly disruptive, some would say, but in an exciting way too, technologies out there. And I think some of the challenges that we're talking about, workforce development, all of those things, to a degree, I think the future, some of those disruptors will actually end up being beneficial to our profession if they're applied and recognized in the right manner. And so that's what excites me about the future of surveying. It's not dismal to me. We're in a great place as land surveyors to embrace some really, really exciting things. It's scary. Change is always scary, but it's exciting to figure out how do we we know we have to change. So let's figure out how we do that the best way possible and make sure the future is well lit for those coming in behind us.
Good, very good. We did have a question, and it was going to be something I was going to ask as a backup if we didn't get any more questions. So thank you, Mr. Pat Beeler. Government affairs and NSPS's involvement at the federal and sometimes state and local levels. Linda, how important do you feel that our involvement in legislation is now and going forward?
Oh, I believe it's extremely important. That's one of those, to me, that's one of the pillars of stewardship in a professional, especially a national professional organization, being good stewards and taking care of our profession, taking care of our consumers and the folks that we, are obligated to as a professional. Without having government affairs and involvement in legislation and things like that, it circles right back around to things such as threats on licensure and a whole host of different things that we've all seen come up over the years that are just not in the consumer's best interest, maybe not in the practicing professional's best interest. And that's where I feel we as professionals have an obligation. We're stewards of our profession, stewards of the folks that we are looking out for the safety and welfare of the public. We're educated and we are positioned to be able to bring common sense to the table and recognize when those things are coming and be ready to react. And that's where the government affairs really plays a huge role in that, being aware of what's going on and being ready to respond when necessary. It's absolutely critical. Very good.
Matt, same question. I know you've been involved a little bit in the Montana and at the federal level. How is that going to continue to be an important role within NSPS and the surveying profession to help guide the profession? Oh, you're muted.
I had muted myself. My opinion on government affairs is it's one of the most important aspects of being a professional. NSPS is set up to provide a national voice for its membership, and the Government Affairs Committee does that. I am unmuted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The Lobby Day effort or Day on the Hill effort is very successful. We continue to have success with that program, and I don't see any changes that would need to be made there. Being active both locally at the state level and the national level, like I say, is one of the primary jobs of NSPS to ensure that our membership has a united voice on Capitol Hill as well as with state societies when necessary. I don't see that I will be taking an exit anytime soon from assisting Montana with legislative efforts. I continue to be on that committee. I haven't been extremely active with Government Affairs Committee. With NSPS, it doesn't mean I'm not willing to. I have been active with Lobby Day efforts starting back from the time I met you, Tim, the first time we met in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It's real dear, close to my heart.
I'm not seeing any other questions just yet. So I tell you what, let's in respect of everybody's time, I'll give you a couple minutes each to just basically sum up why you're doing this, because obviously it is a commitment. It is it's more of your time that's being given to not just the profession, but to a group that really cares about what's going on in the profession. Matt, let's start with you. Just to summarize, why are you doing this? Where do you want to be with all of this?
Whew, big question, short answer. Like I said, I'm doing this to give back to the profession. The profession's given me an opportunity to do a lot in my life, And I feel with, if you're going to be a leader in your profession with your peers, you have to donate some time. And I have donated time. I want to continue to donate time, and I likely will continue to donate time until I'm no longer of use, which can be taken out of context. But when I retire, I plan on retiring, and that's a good 20 years away. There are multiple challenges that face the profession. None of us are going to be able to single-handedly get rid of that. But what we can do is lead an organization in a cohesive manner to provide a solution to most issues and work towards a common goal, and that's the advancement of the profession, both locally and at a national level.
Very good. Same to you, Linda. Just a quick summary of what you're looking to get out of this experience to be able to be considered for an election and to dedicate that much more time and yourself to the profession and to a national organization.
Sure. No, thank you, Tim, for the opportunity. For me, it's not so much what I can get out, but what can I give back? And I would echo, Matt's words as well. This is a profession that's been very good to me, and it's a profession that many of you who know me know I'm very passionate about. I get excited about the challenges we have. I get excited about the opportunities we have, and I'm, excited to put that energy forward and see if I can, make a difference in tackling some of these challenges. I also believe that no one person can get everything done, but if we all chip in and put some time and effort in, we can make a better whole. And so, I guess look at it as I'm here at the table with my contribution to give back and try to make things better in any way I can. And the strengths or talents that I have that I can give, I certainly will. And the knowledge and experience that I've gained from those who I've learned coming up in the profession, I'd just like to give back and try to leave things in a better place if possible.
Very good. No, that's those are two great summaries. I think that that's the one thing I hate about this type of a situation in elections, because especially within an organization like ours, there are no losers. It all works out. It's no matter who gets elected, it's still going to be a great opportunity for the organization. So, and I applaud both of you for considering doing this. This is it's very admirable that you're doing this. One question that's been thrown out there: how does if somebody wanted to reach out and connect with you, social media or otherwise, would it be okay to share? You can say which social media platforms you're on, if any, and if you want to have us share your email address as well. I think we've got some members out there that would like to be able to connect with you. Linda, how about you?
Absolutely. Happy to connect with anyone and field questions or have those conversations. You can find me on LinkedIn. And Tim, you're more than welcome to put my email in the chat there.
Okay, will do.
But by all means, feel free to reach out.
And Mr. Morris, how about yourself?
I am searchable on Facebook. I'm also available on Instagram as the Treasure State Surveyor. My email address, I believe, is published on the NSPS website. Anyone is welcome to reach out at any time. Granted, I am away from my computer often. I do not monitor Instagram and Facebook as often as some. My cell phone, I believe, is also listed. If not, it's 406-595-4054. Just bear in mind that I have plenty of time spent on a telephone during the course of a day and may not be able to answer. I do work really hard on my messages within 24 hours. Email is my preferred means of contact over social media, but I am available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, email, and by phone.
Sure. What was the phone number again? You rattled it off. I didn't get my fingers going. 406.
Quick like that. 406-595-4054.
All right. There's for Mr. Morris as well. So not seeing anything else, I think we can safe to say we wrapped it up. We didn't grill you too bad, I hope. that you're able to get through the rest of the day. So appreciate you both being on. We will massage this, put it back out on the web for those who didn't been able to see. Yes, Mr. Craddock, there's going to be a video that we are going to put out. I'll get this little post-production, and we'll get a YouTube link out shortly. So everybody that didn't have a chance to see this, it'll be out on our socials as well to be able to link back to this and see it. So I'd like to thank you both for taking the time to join us today, and we'll see where it goes. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Tim. Linda, good luck.
All the best, Matt. I'd shake your hand if we were in person.
Yeah, virtual handshake.
There you go. All right. We'll talk to you both very soon. Thanks.